Hey everyone, and happy Friday, TGIF. It is January the 28th, and right now we're taking a live look over New York City. We know the Northeast bracing for some winter weather and snow this weekend. Welcome everybody to Morning Hype. I'm Michelle Fisher. We'll get a look at our top headlines right now at 6 a.m. The NBA All-Star Game 3 weeks away now, and we've got a list of the starters for that game taking place in LeBron's home state. You asked? Well, Joe, he answered why your wallet may be a bit fuller now. And it's official, Donda 2 on its way. We'll tell you when Ye says it's dropping. But first on this Friday, hide your kids, hide your wife, because a bomb cyclone heading to the Northeast this weekend. New York, as we mentioned, now bracing for some crazy weather. So here's a fun way that some New Yorkers are trying to stay a little bit positive.
We don't have earthquakes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have alligators. We don't have earthquakes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have alligators. We don't have earthquakes, we don't have earthquakes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have
Yes, but they do have...
Yeah, I guess it's the little things, yeah.
Yeah, they do have a lot of snow, Kevin. We know that. Meteorologist Kevin Smith with us now. Kevin, how bad is it going to get this weekend?
It's going to get pretty bad, especially if you live in Rhode Island and Boston. Some of the forecast models are indicating over 30 inches of snow. I'm going to be forecasting around 21 inches into downtown Boston. So let's get to the timing of our storm system. Okay, later this afternoon and evening already, New York City picking up on some snow, Hartford, Connecticut, over toward Providence. As we push toward early on Saturday morning, some heavy snow into New York City, as well as the Hartford area, Boston, Massachusetts, and then pushing in toward early on Sunday morning. Notice Boston, you're starting to get out of this as this will start to push up into Maine and the Canadian Maritime Provinces. Now down toward the Mid-Atlantic states, D.C., you're going to be seeing some off and on snow showers actually through about this afternoon and toward Saturday morning. And then by Saturday afternoon, the Philly, you will be out of this. And this will be moving back out of New York City into the Boston area. Now, here we go with those computer models. Now, this is a Euro. Still indicating about an inch in toward D.C., 7 inches into Philly, a foot into New York City, and 36 inches into Boston. The GFS model, 1 inch into D.C., 7 inches into Philly, still about 12 inches into New York City, and 36 inches into Boston. Now I'm forecasting Boston 21 inches, New York City over 7, Philadelphia over 5, and about 1 to 2 inches in toward D.C. So here's the forecast. New York City, temperatures though will be dropping into the 20s, 90% snow chances on Saturday. Boston on Saturday, 100% snow chances, temperatures into the 20s. D.C. and Baltimore, your snowfall today into tomorrow morning, but temperatures will drop from the 30s into the 20s. In Philly, you'll go from the 30s into the 20s as well. So once again, Michelle, we're tracking this bomb cyclone moving into the northeast, bringing some heavy snowfall totals. We'll be here to keep you updated 24/7. So it looks like a dangerous situation into the northeast.
All right. It looks messy. People not going to be outside this weekend up north. No, not at all. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Yes, for sure.
You're welcome.
In some trending news on this Friday morning, most people probably waking up to see that the starters set now for the NBA All-Star Weekend. For the Western Conference, we've got Lakers star LeBron James, of course, Golden State's Steph Curry, also Andrew Wiggins and Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, and Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. All right, congrats to those guys. Then to the Eastern Conference, we've got Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, also Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant, Phillies Joel Embiid, and also DeMar DeRozan from the Chicago Bulls, plus Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. Congratulations to all those guys. And as for the 2022 All-Star Game captains, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Now, this is LeBron's 18th year in a row to play in the All-Star Game. And with this game happening in his home state, he tweeted this post, writing, "Glorious son, God's plan, hashtag the kid from Akron." This will be Hawks guard's Trae Young's second year to be selected as a starter for the All-Star Game. He tweeted, quote, "Truly blessed, see you in Cleveland." And former NBA player Kendrick Perkins had some feelings about the starters picked for the Eastern Conference, so he made his own starting lineup, swapping out Trae Young for Bulls guard Zach LaVine. All-Star Weekend set for February the 18th through the 20th in Cleveland, Ohio, and the Western and Eastern Conference game going to be played on February the 20th. Golden State Warriors' Draymond Green wasn't selected as a starter, but he is still making history, doing something that most athletes have to wait until they retire to do. The power forward will be the first active player to also be a contributor for Inside the NBA on the TNT network. The network saying that Green will contribute to other programs as well. So congratulations this morning to him. It's 6:05. We turn to Our People's Politics. You may have also seen people online talking about the Supreme Court. We're all now anxiously awaiting to see who President Biden selects to fill the empty seat. Well, it'll be one of the biggest decisions the president has to make during his time in the White House. There's still only speculation, though, as to who a front runner could possibly be. But President Biden took to Twitter writing, "The person I nominate to replace Justice Breyer will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, character, experience, and integrity. And they will be the first black woman nominated to the United States Supreme Court." Our White House correspondent Ariana Manise has more now.
I'm here today to express the nation's gratitude to Justice Stephen Breyer for his remarkable career of public service.
President Biden applauded the work of Justice Stephen Breyer as the 83-year-old judge officially announced his upcoming retirement. Breyer served on the High Court for nearly 3 decades.
Of course, people don't agree, but we have a country that is based on human rights, democracy, and so forth.
Biden says he will announce Breyer's replacement by the end of February and vowing to name a black woman.
The person I will nominate will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, character, experience, and integrity. And that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court. It's long overdue in my view.
South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn played a pivotal role in Biden's decision. His support was significant during Biden's presidential run.
Never had a black woman been seriously considered for the Supreme Court. And I told him I thought that was a real issue. For us to keep talking about black women and being the backbone of the party.
The White House has not confirmed Biden's shortlist, but top contenders have emerged. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed last year to the D.C. Appellate Court. California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, who previously served as a Supreme Court clerk, and U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs from South Carolina, a potential pick that Clyburn says he fully supports.
And Joe Biden has said over and over again that he wanted to see people in judicial positions with backgrounds that are different from what has been the tradition. And nobody fits that bill better than Michelle Childs.
$15 billion in student loan debt has been eliminated since President Biden took office. Forbes reporting that nearly 700,000 borrowers have now benefited. Their forgiveness happened through various initiatives, including the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, also for people with permanent and total disabilities, and for students of the now closed ITT Technical Institute. Critics of the move say, though, that's only a drop in the bucket compared to the 45 million borrowers that owe nearly $2 trillion still. New York Attorney General Letitia James pushing back against a lawsuit filed by Donald Trump. The suit aims to stop the civil investigation into the Trump Organization's business practices. James argues that there's no legal basis for his argument, which calls the investigation against his organization, quote, purely political. The Trump Organization is accused of using false valuations of its properties to receive both loans and tax benefits. A spokesperson for Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush confirming her car was struck by gunfire over the weekend. The representative's car was hit Saturday after shots were fired in the St. Louis area. Bush was not in the car at the time, and luckily no one was hurt. Her spokesperson saying there's no evidence right now that she was the target of any attack. Police are trained to de-escalate. That's according to Thursday's witness in the joint trial of the officers accused of violating George Floyd's civil rights. Prosecutors in the trial for the 3 former Minneapolis officers made police training the center of their case against the men. Inspector Katie Blackwell taking the stand, testifying that officers are required to attempt to de-escalate a situation, and if force is used, they must render necessary medical aid once the suspect stops resisting. The trial begins today. Meantime, for the officer involved in the raid gone wrong, where Breonna Taylor died. Jury selection starting for the case of former Louisville officer Brett Hankinson. He was not directly charged in the March 2020 incident where he served a no-knock warrant at her apartment. However, he does face felony charges related to opening fire during the raid where she was fatally struck by bullets. The family of Lauren Smith Fields now thanking rapper Cardi B for helping them. NBC News reporting that the family's lawyer crediting a tweet by the rapper for pushing the police into opening a criminal investigation into her death. Now, Smith Fields died after a Bumble date. Bridgeport, Connecticut police announcing a probe Tuesday, weeks after the 23-year-old died from a combination of drugs, alcohol, and fentanyl on December the 12th. Smith Fields' family says police told them that her date was a, quote, nice guy, and they weren't looking into him as a suspect. The dating app Bumble now releasing this statement here. It says on its Instagram page, in part, that we emphasize with Lauren's family, friends, and beloved community, and we stand by our statement that every parent deserves to know what happened to their child. This matter deserves a thorough and serious investigation. Singer Chris Brown being sued for an alleged rape of a woman on a yacht parked outside of Diddy's Star Island home. According to TMZ, Brown being sued by a Jane Doe who says she's a professional choreographer, dancer, model, and musical artist. She's seeking $20 million in damages and claims the alleged rape is causing her severe emotional distress. Brown's team has not yet responded to the lawsuit. 3 men were arrested and weapons were found after officials raided rapper NBA YoungBoy's home in Houston. Carleon Gallon, also Romello Williams, and Daryl Brown were all arrested at the home, which is owned by YoungBoy and charged. Also, some of those men facing aggravated robbery charges and assault charges. Rapper NBA YoungBoy was not at home during the time of that raid. The Outside Today rapper was released recently, actually, from jail in Louisiana back in October after serving time for a gun case. He is now serving a pretrial arrest in Utah after being released on a $1.5 million bail. Happening today in Oklahoma, a federal judge set to decide a new sentence for Tiger King's Joe Exotic. This after an appeals court ruled last year that his current 22-year prison sentence should be shortened. Now, back in 2019, Exotic, whose real name is Joseph Maldonado Passage, was convicted of a murder-for-hire plot for trying to hire 2 men to kill animal welfare activist Carol Baskin. As Wendy Williams continues to deal with her ongoing health issues, The Wendy Williams Show now announcing guest hosts for February. Throughout the month, a list of celebrity fill-ins will include comedian Michael Rappaport, also Fat Joe and Remy Ma, going to co-host, along with Bebby Smith and Terrence J, plus Sherry Shepherd. And here's what's up in entertainment news. We've got an official release date this morning for Donda 2. The album set to drop on February the 22nd, according to an announcement from Ye Thursday morning. In the social media post, Kanye also shared that the album is executive produced by Future. And sticking with Mr. West, he is also making headlines for his latest Yeezy collab. The rapper partnering with Skid Row Fashion Week on both a new clothing collection and a fashion show to help the homeless. So here's how it is set to work. First, the clothes will be made by Skid Row residents who are employed at the Skid Row Fashion Week factory. Then, according to TMZ, Kanye will also have those employees walking in the Skid Row fashion show. And then lastly, all proceeds from the collab are going to go back to residents living there in Los Angeles' Skid Row. It's set to drop, you guessed it, on February the 22nd as well. And we know it goes down in the DM, but on his Instagram feed Wednesday, Yo Gotti announcing a once-in-a-lifetime contest for up-and-coming rappers. It's called the Change a Rapper's Life Challenge, and it gives MCs the opportunity to land on Yo Gotti's upcoming album, even sign on his record label, too. So to enter the contest, rappers have to upload their verse over the beat to Yo Gotti's Dollar for Dollar track, but you got to act quick because his new album actually is expected to drop next Friday. And lastly, we have a list of honorees for Billboard's 2022 Women in Music event. Doja Cat, Sweetie, and Summer Walker, all amongst the star-studded group, with each woman also performing and receiving an award. Plus, Sierra set to host the show. And for the first time, fans can buy tickets to the event And check it out also on a live stream when it happens in March. And that's what's up in entertainment. Still ahead here on Morning Hype, Anheuser-Busch dropping an adult beverage that will not make you feel guilty after you drink it. Those details, plus a bit later in the show, we're going to discuss Cardi B's week. That's on the Morning Tea segment a bit later. Keep it right here. Welcome back, everyone, to Morning Hype. It is time now to look at what's happening with finances and the economy. It seems that the U.S. economy making a bounce back. That's some good news. A new report shows the GDP expanded nearly 6% in 2021. This is the fastest pace since 1984 when President Ronald Reagan was in the White House. The fourth quarter notched a 6.9% increase, which was best growth since the third quarter of 2020. That's when the nation first started reopening after the pandemic shut down. We know Petco is where the pets go, but soon you'll be able to go pick up your pet's food, maybe while you're shopping for some paint or light bulbs. Lowe's teaming up with Petco on a store-in-store program. Select Lowe's locations will have mini versions of Petco's inside of them. Vaccination clinics, microchipping, and grooming will also be available at certain times. This new concept coming to a Lowe's store in Alamo Ranch, Texas next month, and then will expand to 14 other stores in Texas and the Carolinas. Just in time for the biggest football game of the year, Bud Light introducing a no-carb beer called Next, which is hitting store shelves on February the 7th. The company says the drink is marketed toward younger consumers, and the formula is similar to hard seltzers with the taste of beer. Let's take over the world and look at technology headlines on your Friday morning. Small businesses will soon be able to use iPhones to accept payments without the need for Square-style extra hardware. That's according to Bloomberg. Apple brought contactless payment startup MobiWave back in 2020 and now is expected to release this function during new software updates soon. U.S. government considering a so-called broadband nutritional label for internet providers. In 2016, the Federal Communications Commission launched a voluntary labeling program that gave consumers information like prices, speeds, and data caps. Now the FCC proposing that becomes mandatory for all wired internet providers and mobile carriers. Before the FCC can make that change, it has to get public feedback on that proposal. Traffic will soon be heavy in space. Commercial space company SpaceX planning to launch 52 flights in 2022. If successful, this could be the most launches the company has ever conducted within 1 year. Last year, records was 31 launches. SpaceX currently developing a next-generation rocket system to land people on the surface of the moon. We've got a lot more ahead for you here on Morning Hype. Up next, we're checking in with meteorologist Kevin Smith. Good morning to you again, Kevin.
Good morning, Michelle and everyone. Beside our bump cyclone, we're tracking a West Coast storm system. And while with this system, it's going to bring in the coldest air mass of the season across the U.S. We're discussing it in weather coming up. You're watching Morning Hype.
Welcome back, everyone, to Morning Hype. People across the country, as we know, bracing for what could be some pretty wild winter weather. Take a look here at this viral TikTok. It's out of North Dakota. This man soaks a T-shirt in his kitchen, and then he walks outside and holds the T-shirt up, and it freezes within seconds. You see it there. That's just how cold it is. We're going to go ahead and check in now with BNC meteorologist Kevin Smith. Now, Kevin, I know it probably isn't the best for people that are living in those conditions, but for a meteorologist, the storms are kind of exciting to cover, right?
It's exciting, but you know what? That's why that guy and about 4 more people live in North Dakota.
Right.
Because of the weather like that. Hey, we are tracking a lot of cold weather across the United States. Let's get to those temperatures as you head out the door on this Friday. And here we go with that cold air that's barreling down. Temperature of 6 below in the Fargo. It's 21 Chicago, 30 in the St. Louis. But they'll feel like temperatures are hovering in at 21 St. Louis, 10 in Chicago, 23 below in Fargo, and that's that cold air that's barreling toward the south and the east. Here is that national outlook for today. We're 38 with that rain snow mixing in New York City, some snow into D.C. We're 22, St. Louis 19 with some cloud cover in Chicago. Fargo is at 15, but we're sunny in Denver at 47, and L.A., hey, mostly sunny at 72. But it's those long-range models that are indicating that storm system we showed you that's moving across the west coast will start to barrel across the south, creating a big snowstorm that eventually will move into the Midwest, into the plains. And also it's going to draw in the coldest air of the season across the central and eastern half of the U.S. Some folks could see temperatures as low as 30 below zero. With that in mind, for the weekend into next week, think about those winter weather tips outside home, your vehicle, and bring those pets, Michelle, inside. So a cold weekend across the United States. And of course, we're tracking that bomb cyclone once again. We're going with about 1 inch to 2 inches into D.C., at least over 5 inches into Philadelphia, over 7 inches into New York City, and over 15 inches into Boston. Actually, I'm forecasting, Michelle, 21 inches into Boston. Beantown. It's going to be under some snow this weekend. Over to you.
Right. I used to work and live in Boston a few years back. So I got lots of friends there, and they're sharing on social media how they're preparing. I'm like, I'm glad it's not me.
Yeah.
Thank
well,
you.
hey, Michelle, they're going to have some, what's some cold chowder? Is that how they said chowder?
Chowder, yes. They love to add extra letters and do things up there in Beantown. All right. Thank you, Kevin. All right, Morning Hype continues after the break. Coming up, NBA champion Draymond Green is making history off the court. We'll tell you how. Plus, hey, cool cats and kittens, Tiger Kings, Joe Exotic back in the courtroom today. Stick with us. You're watching Morning Hype here on BNC Go. Welcome back, everyone, to BNC Go's Morning Hype. I'm Michelle Fisher. We appreciate you sticking with us. Let's go ahead and take another look at your top headlines on this Friday morning. It's 6:30 right now. The NBA All-Star Game 3 weeks away, and we have got a list of starters. King James, LeBron James, is taking place in his home state. You asked. Joe answered. Some students feeling financial relief, but just how many? And it's official. Dawn to 2 on its way. We'll tell you when it's dropping. But first, most people waking up to see that the starters have now been set for the NBA All-Star Weekend. For the Western Conference, we've got Lakers star LeBron James, also Golden State's Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins, also Ja Morant from the Memphis Grizzlies, and Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. And the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, also Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant, Phillies Joel Embiid, DeMar DeRozan with the Chicago Bulls, and from the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. And the 2022 All-Star Game captains, we have LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So congratulations to all those guys. Now, this is LeBron's 18th year in a row to play in the All-Star Game. And with this year's game happening in his home state, he tweeted this post, writing, "Glorious son, God's plan, hashtag the kid from Akron." This will be Hawks guard Trae Young's second year to be selected as a starter for the All-Star Game. He tweeted, "Truly blessed, see you in Cleveland." And former NBA player Kendrick Perkins with some feelings about the starters picked for the Eastern Conference, so he made his own starting lineup, swapping out Trae Young for Bulls guard Zach LaVine. Well, All-Star Weekend set for February the 18th through the 20th in Cleveland, and the Eastern and Western Conference going to be facing off Sunday, February the 20th. We're excited for that. Now, Golden State Warriors' Draymond Green was not selected as a starter, but he's still making some history, doing something that most athletes wait until they retire to do. The power forward will be the first active player to also be a contributor for Inside the NBA on TNT. The network says that Green will contribute to other programming as well, so congratulations to him. All right, we turn now to Our People's Politics. You may have seen people online also talking about the Supreme Court. We're all anxiously waiting to see who President Biden selects to fill the now empty seat. It'll be one of the biggest decisions the president has to make during his time in the White House. There's still only speculation as to who the front runners may be, but President Biden took to Twitter writing, "The person I nominate to replace Justice Breyer will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, also character, experience, and integrity. And they'll be the first black woman nominated to the United States Supreme Court." $15 billion in student loan debt has been eliminated since President Biden took office. Forbes reporting that nearly 700,000 borrowers have benefited. The forgiveness happened through various initiatives, including the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, also for people with permanent and total disabilities, and for students who had gone to the now closed ITT Technical Institute. Critics of the move, though, saying it's only a drop in the bucket compared to the 45 million borrowers that owe nearly $2 trillion. New York Attorney General Letitia James pushing back against a lawsuit filed by Donald Trump. The suit aims to stop the civil investigation into the Trump Organization's business practices. James argues that there's no legal basis for his argument, which calls the investigation against his organization, quote, purely political. The Trump Organization is accused of using false valuations of its properties to receive loans and tax benefits. Happening today in Oklahoma, a federal judge set to decide a new sentence for Tiger King star Joe Exotic. This after an appeals court ruled last year that his current 22-year prison sentence should be shortened. In 2019, Exotic, whose real name is Joseph Maldonado Passage, was convicted of a murder-for-hire plot to try to hire two men who were going to kill animal welfare activist Carol Baskin. As Wendy Williams continues to deal with her ongoing health issues, The Wendy Williams Show announcing guest hosts for the month of February. Throughout the month, the list of celebrity fill-ins going to include comedian Michael Rappaport, Fat Joe and Remy Ma will be co-hosting together, plus Bevy Smith and Terrence J and Sherry Shepherd. Here's what's up in entertainment headlines. We've got an official release date this morning for Donda 2. The album set to drop on February the 22nd, according to an announcement from Ye Thursday morning. In the social media post, Kanye also shared that the album is executive produced by Future. And sticking with Mr. West, he's also making headlines for his latest Yeezy collab, the rapper partnering with Skid Row Fashion Week on a new clothing collection and a fashion show. The pieces will be made by Skid Row residents who are employed at the Skid Row Fashion Week factory. Then, according to TMZ, Kanye also wants those employees to walk in the fashion show. Proceeds from the collab set to go back into the community. It's set to drop also on February the 22nd. We know it goes down in the DMs, but on his Instagram feed Wednesday, Yo Gotti announced a once-in-a-lifetime contest for up-and-comers. The Change a Rapper's Life Challenge gives MCs the opportunity to land on Gotti's upcoming album and even sign to his CMG record label. To enter, rappers have to upload their verse on Instagram over a beat to Yo Gotti's Dollar for Dollar track. And lastly, we have a list of honorees for Billboard's 2022 Women in Music event. Doja Cat, Sweetie, and Summer Walker, all amongst the star-studded group, with each woman performing and receiving an award. Ciara will be hosting the show, and for the first time, fans can buy tickets to attend the event in person, or they can also check it out via live stream when it happens in March. And that's what's up. Still ahead here on the show, from Cardi B to Kanye, there's been a lot of entertainment talk this week, and we are spilling the tea and breaking it down after the break. Stay right here. This is Morning Hype. Welcome back to Morning Hype. It's Friday, so you know that means we are spilling some entertainment tea. Here to discuss this week's biggest headlines, we've got radio personality Young Jazz and also journalist Crystal Jordan. Good morning to both of you ladies and welcome to the show. We're going to take our first sip and start with Cardi B. She won that $4 million defamation suit against blogger Tasha K. This kind of a cautionary tale for those who cover celebrity and entertainment news, which is all three of us ladies. So I want to know, and Crystal, we can start with you on this. How do you think this is going to impact entertainment bloggers and how they do their jobs?
Well, I think this is definitely a case that's going to change the way bloggers, look at and report celebrity tea. Number one, you can't lie knowingly on someone. I mean, we use words like allegedly when you hear, or it's rumored to be, but when you are actually reporting things that you know not to be true for content, that's a problem. And I think that, we have to realize at the end of the day, celebrities, yes, they get you a lot of clicks and likes, but these are people too. And Cardi's authenticity on the stand and seeing how those accusations, false accusations, really affected her, I think really impacted, obviously, the verdict, and hopefully will kind of change the tone in the way entertainment bloggers, consider reporting and writing stories moving forward.
Right. Jazz, I don't know about you, but even sometimes as we're caught up in discussing things, you might say, oh, according to somebody, or it just kind of makes me uneasy. What are your thoughts?
I feel like this whole situation was Cardi B showing that she is not playing when it comes to invading privacy. And the fact that she handled the entire case by the book, like she did this the legal way because of things that were going on, just shows that you can't just spread lies on the internet for views. You can't just cyberbully people and come up with things, just to get clicks on YouTube. So I feel like this sets a new tone for bloggers and people everywhere who are just trying to find content and they're creating content, but you got to make sure to fact check that, or, your money might you might have to put your money where your mouth is.
Right. Millions of dollars. I'm like, oh, sis, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt her pockets for sure. And I agree. It was really, interesting to see just Cardi, because we know her as such a powerful, strong woman, and she's got this vivacious personality. But to see how she was really impacted by those rumors, I think that certainly had an impact on the outcome of this case.
Definitely.
She's always, she's one that wins through her authenticity. She's very honest. She's very upfront. She speaks her mind. And I think this is another example of that. I think that's also why she always wins. And while her fans are so supportive and they stick by her, because she's, one of these celebrities that is 100% honest, authentic. What you see is what you get. And this is something that, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, this really affected her relationships and how she felt even about herself. She was depressed. So to see her be so transparent and candid, I think is a lesson, to bloggers. I think a lot of times people look at celebrities as objects and not real people. And this definitely, allowed us to see the human side of Cardi, even though she's very successful. At the end of the day, none of us want to, be bullied or hear hurtful things like that about us in the name of, like Jazz said, clickbait.
For sure. Well, speaking of being human, we're going to get to our next topic now. This one's been a really hot one across social media. Real Housewife of Salt Lake City. Her name's Jenny Nguyen, and she's a newcomer this season. She was fired by Bravo recently after there were some old Facebook posts of hers that surfaced that a lot of people felt were racist. When it comes to cancel culture, should there be grace if there's been a certain amount of time that's passed, or what do we make of all of it? Jazz, what do you think?
I believe this situation with Jenny personally, it was very soon. There were things regarding, Black Lives Matter and protesting, and that's all happened within the last 1 or 2 years. So for me, it felt like it was way too soon. She didn't genuinely seem apologetic, and then the apology video was all over the place. I mean, she brought in rule number one: whenever somebody does something racist, she brought in her quote unquote Black friend to come and save face for her, and that also was not a good look. So it just seems like thing after thing that she's doing is just not right. So I think she really should go and do some research and get informed and, teach herself about the things that she's done wrong and not just try to throw an apology out there to save face, because that's not going to work in the internet days.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the opportunity for her to learn and do better. Crystal, I want to hear from you on this. Do we think that this was possibly a missed opportunity by Bravo to have there be some type of conversation about race that these posts facilitated?
I think there's still time for Bravo to do that. I actually want to give kudos to Bravo for how quickly they addressed the situation and, terminating her contract with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They made it clear they don't stand behind her sentiments and the social media posts that she had put out. And they also took responsibility and said moving forward, they're going to do a better job in vetting people. And so I really think they did a great job of handling immediately getting in and handling the situation. And I definitely look forward to them having conversation about this moving forward. I mean, the first thing they needed to do was make sure that fans knew that they did not stand behind her. They did not want to have that attitude and sentiment associated with the series, franchise. So I think they did a really good job. Actually, really applaud the way they handled it. I do think that this is an opportunity for further conversation. So we look forward to them, addressing it in a more in depth. But the first thing to do is make sure to sever those ties and make sure that people know it's not necessarily about canceling, but it is about making sure that people know where your views align. And that franchise is, Bravo's meal ticket. And I think that they did a great job of making sure that they didn't, bash her, but they did say this is not going to work for, what we believe in, and we're going to move forward without her.
For sure. Also, if you all watch the series, very ironic, her comments, because she, on the show, we see her kind of get into it with the black cast member, Mary, because Mary says to her, I love your Asian or your slanted eyes or something. And, Jenny says, I feel like that's racist. So now it's kind of been a full circle moment with everybody, kind of, I guess, having some racist comments on the show. So we'll see what happens with this series, but it's certainly a good one. So we'll be staying tuned to that for sure. We'll go to our third topic now, because I think we're running out of time a little bit. We're talking about Kanye West. We're always talking about Ye. He made headlines this week because he told the paparazzi that he is eventually going to be getting a percentage of the money that they make off of his image. So Crystal, does he have a point? Is that just part of being a celeb? Who owes who what money?
I'm going to say I was an entertainment publicist for 20 years, and I do know that the paparazzi, a lot of people make a very good living off of celebrity photos, and they actually go a bit too far sometimes, in my opinion, because Kanye, we know that they look for pictures of his children. They're often very, very aggressive in the way that they do that. So although I feel like Kanye is always gaslighting us, I do think that celebrities should receive a percentage of the photos, because they do, this is their livelihood. A lot of times they're not able to enjoy intimate moments with their families. They are, kind of held prisoner. Yes, this is a life they chose, but I do think that sometimes the paparazzi take it too far. I'm probably not going to be extremely popular with the paparazzi for saying that, but I do think that there should be some type of compensation at some point when you look at, the amount of money that some photojournalists are able to get for one photo of someone in a very private moment. It makes it very uncomfortable for them. We know that celebrities have always had to deal with this. Back to years ago at Princess Di, being chased by paparazzi. So, Kanye has a point. I don't know, how that would work out, but I do see how other celebrities would probably feel like, you're using my image, you're chasing me, you're stalking me outside my house, and I don't, benefit from that at all. So, I do think in this situation, Ye may have a point.
Yeah, he's got a point. All right, Young Jazz, what do you think?
I'll just say real quick, I want to go with Mr. West on this, because I do believe that if they're using his image, then, you wouldn't be making any money off of the photo if it wasn't Kanye in it. So I do feel like he deserves a percentage of the pay. Is Kanye going to get that? We'll have to see. But just like we talked about with the case with Cardi B, different things come about and they set the tone for the future. So you never know.
My only issue here is I think it depends on who the celebrity is and their level of success, because if it's someone like Kim Kardashian very early in her career, right? The paparazzi was an asset to get her image out there. So in that case of a celeb who's trying to get noticed, maybe they owe the paparazzi some money. I don't know.
Well, we also know that celebrities pay paparazzi. That's a best kept secret within the industry. There are a lot of celebrities, as they're climbing, that fame ladder, they actually pay and have photojournalists on retainer, to get their photos and put them out and sell them to magazines. So I definitely understand what you're saying as far as that's concerned. But my outlook is really based on the fact that a lot of these celebrities, especially when you get to a certain level, you're talking about Kanye, Beyonce, they can't, Adele, you can't go anywhere without paparazzi really harassing you. So I think we just need different laws and different structure for that. If they're at a red carpet event, obviously that, that's a part of the job. But if you're on someone's family vacation and you're taking pictures of them, to me, that's a different story.
For sure. I agree with that. Well, thank both of you ladies so much for being here this morning and helping us sip some entertainment tea. We certainly appreciate your time. We've got Crystal, Jordan, and also Young Jazz. Thank you both so much. All right, always so much fun chatting with those ladies. And a reminder, go ahead and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter at BNC Go and on Instagram at BNC_Go. Morning Hype will be right back.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sierra here, and I am so excited to announce that I've teamed up with Meta Elevate to spotlight and support 10 Black-owned small businesses. The success of Black-owned small businesses is key to wealth building in our community, which is why connecting Black owners to these opportunities is so important to me. The 10 businesses that I've nominated are...
All right, so Sierra, as you heard, they're helping businesses, Black-owned businesses, that is, level up. The program also will provide some creative assets from a professional agency, plus a scholarship to help business owners level up their marketing skills, and even $10,000 in Meta ad credits. And we love to see it, of course. Sierra, such a queen. That's why we had her there. That's our Kings and Queens segment. And she is always just so, I feel like, charitable and nice and sweet. We're going to turn things over now to Sharon Reed from Start Your Day to tell us a bit more about what they are working on for the show today. Don't you just love Sierra, Sharon?
I love Sierra and I love ice cream, so it's a win-win. It's a win-win. This morning on Start Your Day, Michelle, we're going to be talking about small businesses getting bigger, and we too have a Black business owner, an ice cream maker, coming on the show. That'll be in the 8 a.m. hour. You can find her deliciousness in major retailers, so this stuff is really good. We're also talking about this weekend's big football games. None of my teams are still in the playoffs, but the excitement's heating up. Tom Brady's out of it too, Michelle, which I love saying. I love relishing the fact that Tom Brady is not in the Super Bowl. And people think I'm a hater, but the truth is, well, you know what? He's won enough, hasn't he?
Always how I felt about Brady too, but I do kind of feel bad for him that if he retires after this season, he wouldn't be going off on a high note. You know?
Really? Really? After all the rings he has? Really? Okay. I don't ever feel sorry for Tom Brady. You might, that's a crowd of one. It's
Right,
just
okay,
you.
Okay. He does have enough. How many said 7? Is it 7 or 6?
I stopped counting. And he's got the supermodel wife. It's enough.
It's enough. All right. So it's safe to say then that you're probably watching the Janet Jackson documentary over the football games this weekend since your team not in the playoffs?
And then I'll watch it again. That's right.
Okay.
And I'll watch it again.
Yes, that's going to give us lots to talk about on Monday. I'm excited about that. All right, Sharon, we'll again start your day. Yeah, start your day coming up at the top of the hour. Thank you so much. Bounce for the weekend. We're going to look at some travel news really quickly. The most of Black History Month this year. Check out these cities if you want to make the most of the celebration. We've got New York, San Antonio, and Memphis. Some of the cities that are highlighting the Black community, struggles, triumphs, and contribution. 5 cities have revitalized some museum exhibits, also tours, special events in preparation for Black History Month celebrations. All right, thank you so much for watching Morning Hype and waking up with us. I'm Michelle Fisher. Don't go anywhere. Start Your Day is back at the top of the hour.